Hello and welcome to another episode of the Magic Kings podcast with the great, big, beautiful dads. We're here tonight with Magic Mike. What's going on?
We're back, Steve.
We're back. And we are thrilled to be joined by an extremely special guest. I believe a reviewer of this podcast, which is your greatest accolade, but none other than our friend Adam, a new guest. Welcome.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for bringing me on.
Thanks for being here. We're so excited to have you, and we'll get into some reasons why, but a big reason why is that, not to spoil anything, but you were a cast member at Disney and a team member at Universal in your life. Is that right?
Yes. I've been a cast member at Disney actually 3 times. And I also worked at Universal before then. So I've got a lot of experiences on both. And as you can probably tell, I absolutely love both places.
I'm so excited to dive in. When we met and I heard that was your background, I didn't know it was 3 times at Disney. My God, you just keep going back.
Well, it's a bit funky because being international, so I kind of international programs and visas and everything like that. So I always had a limited time of when I could work at Universal, then work at Disney, and then go back to university, then come back. And when I finally could work full time at Disney, COVID happened. So that was just brilliant. So then I moved up to North Carolina and I was like, well, let's just be here for a little bit. Let's go back to Florida, and ended up staying here. So here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're not originally from North Carolina. You're international. Is that right?
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice that spectacular British accent that you have, Adam.
If there's anyone listening to this thinking North Carolina native, born and raised, I'm from England. So I'm from a place called Hertfordshire. So I don't know how many UK listeners you have, but it's right above London. About 45 minutes out on a train, or you can just drive in. Then I started working at Universal when I was 18, after my first year of university. And after that, worked for Disney. And as we said, then kept on coming back, and the mouse liked me enough to keep bringing me in.
You're in with the mouse. What more do you need? That's amazing.
I know. He's a good boss. Good things to say about him.
He's the big cheese. Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
All right. So,
I would also like to just mention that you mentioned something about my review, and I know you read it out on an episode very recently, and I said, Steve is a great host, and then just left it at that. The reason I said that is because I listened to like 2 episodes, and Magic Mike was not on them, and I was like, well, Steve's the host, and Magic Mike is just, I know you mentioned something about Magic Mike, and I was like, does he exist? I don't really think he's real. So I just had a review in, and then the very next episode, you're like, here's my co-host, Magic Mike. And I was like, well, there goes that review. I can't redo that. So 5-star review, though, obviously. 5 stars.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That was the main point, is 5 stars.
So do you have anything to say to Magic Mike now, or are you going to leave it at
if I could do like an on-air review, I would say Steve is a great host, and also Magic Mike is a phenomenal host.
Wow.
And has great fish and chips taste.
Sounds like I got knocked down a little bit of a peg under phenomenal.
Yeah, right. Well, gosh, now which one of you is not going to talk to me for the rest of the episode?
Well, we appreciate the 5-star review. Everyone out there, leave a 5-star review and then say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You could say
Adam's a great host. Just put something.
Yes, exactly.
And we have a high correlation of 5-star reviewers to ending up being guests on the podcast. So I don't know, listeners, if you want to. Up your chances of being on the pod.
Yeah. That's the vetting process, actually. They're like, let me check your reviews.
It's true. I think every reviewer that I can identify has been on this podcast. So we're a pretty high ratio there.
I don't know what you would say to them if they gave you a 1 star and you're like, welcome to the show. And
yeah. We should have the next 1-star review. No, don't leave 1-star review.
No. You'll never get on the podcast.
That's right. So as a frequent listener of this podcast, Adam, you know what we got to do, which is the lightning lane round of questions. Okay. And I think some of these will probably, be segues into what we're here to talk about tonight, including the first one. Maybe I'll just kick it off because there's no way you can answer this question, honestly, which is how many times have you been to Walt Disney World?
On your last episode, when you asked this, I was trying to think, how do I give a good answer? And I don't even know. I mean, because I literally was there working inside. Like, does a shift at Disney count as going?
It's a good
technically.
Question. Yeah, we'll allow it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll go... oh gosh, like 600. I don't know, 500, 600.
Amazing. I think that's the record.
Yeah. And if we could, because I would also go out for lunch sometimes, not in the Disney World bubble. So like it could be 2 visits in one day.
Wow.
Like, I would go out to Chili's and then come back. I'm like, well, that's 2 trips to Disney. Yeah.
All right, Adam, how old were you when you first went to Disney World?
That is a good question because I first went when I was 6 years old. So this is going to age me, but I was born in 93. Oh, wow. And my family took me in 1999, which was 1 year after Animal Kingdom opened. And I remember, I was 6, but I do remember this. It was the year Islands of Adventure opened, which was so cool. So yeah, when we were kind of going every 3 years after that point, and after kind of the every 3-year trip stopped happening, I was like, I've got to figure out how to, get back here on my own accord because the family trips have dried up. So then the rest is history, I guess. But yeah, 6 years old, and I don't think there's really a minimum age of it being the perfect age to go to Disney the first time. But that 6-year-old mark was just like, wow, like I just want to be here all the time. Like it is amazing.
Yeah. 6 is a kind of a good sweet spot, especially if you're a little tall. 6 or 7, you can get on ride. Like
get on all the rides.
To go. Yep. For sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the next question, who is your character in the My Disney Experience app?
This may not come as a surprise, but my character legitimately is Peter Pan. It's very stereotypical, I know. Yeah. Peter Pan. It was Mickey Mouse until fairly recently, and then I was like, no, let's just like lean into the British thing. Peter Pan.
That's awesome.
All right. What is your favorite park?
My favorite park is definitely Epcot. And probably a running theme of that answer of being Epcot, not always being Epcot. When we talked about my first trip, 6 years old, I was like, oh, Epcot, like, oh, where are the rides? Come on. And over time, I'm like, Epcot, like that's, the thing about Epcot is you could do a whole day without going on one attraction. And it is the most incredible day. When we go back in, we're going back in November, and Food and Wine's on. I mean, I could just have a whole day just going to those booths and just enjoying it. And just love Epcot so much. The music, the vibes.
Yep.
So good.
I'm right there with you. I love Epcot. Younger, I would probably have gone Magic Kingdom, but I mean, even in my teenage years, I started to lean more towards Epcot, and then they started adding, more attractions and just made it better and better.
There was a time when I really was on the MGM Studios train, and I just thought that park was so cool. Doing the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids play area and like the old MGM Studios.
Yep.
And it's taken them a lot of time. And throughout a lot of the time I was working there, I mean, Studios was a half-day park, and now finally now everything's fully open again.
Yep.
I mean, they could have just closed it and just done everything at once, but it just took so long to kind of rejig that park that is a lot of fun as well now.
Yeah.
I have to throw in, if you add the 3 theme parks of Universal, is Epcot still coming out ahead?
Oh, gosh. I'm just going to say great question and just ramble to every single answer of it. I'd say Epcot is still my favorite because Universal has kind of changed into kind of more my thing rather than me and my wife always going. In January, I was there on my own and kind of going around the parks, and she likes Universal, but not to like, you are obsessed, like to the level that I am. So Epcot has always had so many like fun memories of, going as a family, then going with her. And yeah, I would still say Epcot. My favorite Universal park, just to kind of go that way, is Universal Studios. I just love the classic,
Hey.
Probably one of the few people that may say that, because everyone says Islands.
Of the 2 original parks, I would choose Universal Studios Florida. But I loved both, but
Epic will be there when Epic gets another portal or 2 or a couple more rides. Then Epic will definitely be probably number 1 because it's just so cool. I love that place.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question is, what's your favorite ride? You have to pick one. We'll stick to Disney World for now.
Okay. Let's try not to give you a 2-hour podcast here by just rambling again. So my favorite ride is definitely an Epcot. It'll be Cosmic Rewind. Wow. I mean, that is just, and I know of all the like March Madness stuff, and I know you did one recently. That seems to just be everyone's pick. I mean, it's just out of this world. Maybe you guys have said this. Do you guys have a favorite song on that ride?
I like Conga. I'm a Conga guy. I like Conga.
Okay. Yeah, we got that last time. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten every song, but of the ones I've gotten, I think September. I know it's the basic pick, but that was my favorite, I think. What about you?
First time we went on it, we got Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears.
Yep.
And I just got chills off that ride.
That's a great one.
I think if I would have had a different song, first of all, but like that first time, you just can't ever relive that. Yeah. And I still listen to that song all the time now, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm on Cosmic Rewind. It just works. Like if you listen to the song, you're like, how could that work? And then when you go on it, you're like, oh wow, yeah, amazing.
They did a great job. Like all of them are really good. But I agree, that's probably my number 2. The last time I got Conga, I was like, wow, this is like it made it like fun. I was like laughing the whole time. So it's like the music does make a big difference.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you can't get a bad song on that ride.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite show? You have to pick one.
Judging by the last episode, you are including parades?
Yeah.
Parades, fireworks, anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, hands down, at the minute, Disney Starlight.
Oh.
Have you guys seen that?
I have not.
I have not.
No.
Well, when you do, it'll be your number 1. It is absolutely incredible. It is so good. And I feel like the marketing for that parade, I mean, I know Disney always do such a great job with marketing, but I felt they could have pushed that so much more because of just how incredible it is. They got the lights on the floats, and I was a massive Main Street electrical parade person. But even for this, I'm like, Main Street what? Like that. This is the one. Wow. This is so good. If the question is not parade related and we didn't include parades, then I love Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular.
It's a great one.
You got to do that when it's not inclement weather, because then you get like an extra half the show because the plane comes out. And,
well,
I've been on it before when it's raining, and I'm like, where's the plane? Just hiding back there. Okay.
Now, have you seen it without the boulder?
No, because I haven't seen it since. Are they doing the boulder now? Did they?
No, as far as I know, it's still Okay.
That's why Steve's the best in the business. He'd be like, is there a boulder?
Yep.
Do I need a lightning lane? Yes, right, but there's no boulder. That was crazy when that started bouncing. Wow. I mean, that guy's a hero for catching that.
Oh, for sure.
Insane. I couldn't believe it.
Shout out to that guy. I think he's doing
whoever that guy
I haven't
is.
heard in a while, but Well,
he's coming on the podcast, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah.
If he gives you a good review.
That's right.
5 stars.
5 stars, you know?
Gave me a shout out for my boulder catching.
That's right. Just takes one thumb to put that 5-star, you know? So that's all he needs.
What a great plug. No, just one thumb. Click it in there.
So, all right. For Disney World, your favorite resort?
Favorite resort for me has got to be Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we got married at Vero Beach Resort,
Right.
Disney's Vero Beach Resort. Yeah, that was all over our socials last week. So you're like, I didn't realize you got married there. I'm like, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That's incredible, amazing down there. But yeah, we had like a mini honeymoon at Wilderness Lodge, and yeah, my family came over from England and met her family, and I love that place. That's so cool. And Geyser, whatever you say, the grill.
Geyser.
Sorry, Geyser.
Oh,
yeah,
you're good.
Geyser Point Grill, I think is the name.
Yep.
That is such a cool spot to eat along the front there. I will give a special mention to Riviera because it's kind of got it's not like classic Disney, but it's like just enough, like a jazz rendition and kind of slow music, kind of doing Lady and the Tramp and things like that. And that's a cool place.
All right. Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant is a new option, and it is Wailulu.
Oh, at the Poly.
Yes, at the new Polynesian Tower, which I was skeptical when they were building it, and I was like, "How's that gonna like?" It kind of dominates the Seven Seas Lagoon a little bit, but Wailulu, we went there for lunch. A little tip: it was just the two of us, so we did have a table kind of in the middle. But if you have a larger group, more than two, there's tables that sit outside, and they're kind of like cut into the water a little bit. And you then got the perfect view. I mean, we still had an amazing view. You could see the Cinderella's castle from there. But yeah, I'm sure I would love to have an evening meal there as well. Just the view across the Seven Seas Lagoon, and the food was amazing.
That's awesome.
Oh, man. And I was hoping we talked to, I don't know if you heard the episode with also Steve, our buddy, and Ashley, who are going next month. And they're staying at the Poly for just, I think, one night. But I was hoping that they would reserve Wailulu. I want to check that out. So I'm glad to hear you did it. You went and you liked it. That's really good.
Yes.
All right. Next question. Your favorite snack?
I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, what is the one thing that I have to get every time I go to Disney? Werther's original popcorn in the German pavilion in Epcot. Oh, so good.
Choice. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever talked about that on this podcast, the popcorn over it. Was that caramel couche? Is that what it's called?
Caramel Kuka?
Kuka,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I'm European, but yeah, I'm not expert in German. You must know it's German. But yeah, so good. And they have a load of other amazing things in there. They have a cookie with the Werther's kind of, I guess it's Werther's toffee in the middle of it. Oh, yeah, it's so good. But the problem with that is that I buy it and then put it in my backpack. And then there's so many other things that I end up just having like half the bag. And then by the end of the trip, I'm like, stale Werther's popcorn, kind of worth it.
I think I heard that you can also now get that in Disneyland at the Wonderful World of Sweets. Like it used to be just there in the Germany Pavilion, but now that popcorn is on both coasts. I think that's what I heard recently. So, you know.
There's another place at Disney World too that started selling it because I saw it.
Oh, okay.
And I already had it, so I was like, well, I don't need to remember exactly where this place is because I want to go to the proper place. But yes, there definitely is another spot at Disney World where you can buy it.
I love it.
It's awesome.
It's good to know.
All right, next up, underrated attraction or experience.
Well, underrated experience may just be because not a lot of people have probably experienced it yet, but Beak and Barrel in Magic Kingdom, it was so much fun. Yeah, the cast members in there were so on point. My wife asked for a water and she was like, you are after the sea shanty drink or something like that. And my wife's like, is that water? Like, I think she said, yeah, a salt water something. And I'm like, I hope that's regular water. I don't know what they're putting in that. But yeah, they do have some snacks in there too. But yeah, mainly about the drinks. It's kind of potluck with where they seat you. They sat us with another family. It's kind of like Ogre's Cantina in that respect. And I'm Trader Sam's vibes with kind of seating arrangements. But yeah, so cool. If I'm talking about actual attractions that's underrated, I feel like Star Tours always needs some more love.
Love it. Yeah.
Speaking our language there.
Yeah, and they always update that as well. So
it's always different. And there's never a line. I just you can go on it over and over again. I don't understand why more people don't do it, especially when people are willing to wait 2 hours for Rise of Resistance, but they won't go in the no wait Star Tours ride. I love it. I think
I'm also picking Star Tours over Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
but
same.
I haven't done the update to Smuggler's Run, so I mean that may tip it over the edge. I don't know if either of you remember this, but I'm talking about back to my first trip there. That 80 however you pronounce that, used to like sprinkle water out. And I'm like, every time I see that, I'm like, that would be so. I just
Did it?
this little,
I don't even remember
just
that.
a little detail.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I know Disney is always so good on those things, but so cool.
And I feel like I don't know if you've noticed this too. When you're in the queue for Star Tours, they didn't finish the backside of the AT-AT. So you can see the like metal. It's like only the front has, like if you look at the legs, only the front has the thing, and then like you can see the metal struts holding it up in the back. Like, come on, guys! Like everything else is so buttoned up, and then you just let like half the AT-AT show while you're in the queue line.
I'm almost ashamed at how nerdy my answer to that is, but here we go.
Okay.
And someone listening may call me out on this, but I'm fairly sure this is what the reason for that is that the outside of that attraction is meant to be more of like a studio, because the trees, I believe some of the trees are not fully you can kind of tell it's more of a set.
Yeah.
And then once you go through the door to get in the interior, because I mean that was all leading up towards like the studio tour and kind of back in the Avenue, the American Avenue, whatever that was called.
Yep.
Watch someone listen and be like, that was wrong.
No, they just didn't want to spend the money to
what's he on about? Yeah, but yeah, such a glaring thing.
Yeah.
It does look off, but I believe that may be the reason.
They were going for the movie studio vibe.
It's such a cop out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see that big steel beam? Movie studio.
Yeah, we were lazy on purpose, guys. That's the reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so our last question here is either a time that you were pixie dusted, like if you have a good story being pixie dusted, and if not, just any magical moment you can share from your time at Disney World.
Not necessarily pixie dusted, but something that was kind of unexpected was we did the not so scary Halloween party, and we went to Pirates of the Caribbean, and they had a couple of cast member actors in the queue line, and I was like, wow, can you imagine if that was all the time? That was so cool. But when you go on the ride too, I mean, there was someone on the ride, like in amongst the animatronics. I was like, wow, that is absolutely, it's just things like that kind of just make you love Disney even more, and you just remember those experiences. I just thought that was so cool to like, that ride is already so immersive, and then just kind of add an extra layer that I wasn't expecting. It was just, blew me away, to be honest with you.
That's amazing. Well, that was great. That was great. I mean, that could be a whole episode, but we're gonna.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Sorry for my long answer.
Oh no! Don't
just tell us your favorite ride.
I can do this all day. But I know Mike and I are dying to know some things about what it's like to be a cast member. So we talked a little bit about it in the beginning, how you started at Universal and stuff. But let's start there. Like, how did you come to want to be a Universal or Disney team member / cast member. How did it happen? And then kind of just take us through, like, what was your experience getting involved with that?
Yeah, so just kind of a quick kind of story of my life, really, to get over to Universal and Disney. But I didn't know what I wanted to do at university. So I was finishing what we would call secondary school. You would call it high school here. And I was touring a couple of different universities. And the only thing I knew was that I didn't want to live away from home. And well, ironically, now I live over here. But so I remember taking a few tours and trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. And there was just a list of different topics or degrees that I wanted to do. And I was thinking, well, business related, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, maybe do that. And then marketing just kind of struck a chord with me. So ended up seeing what marketing degrees I could do around the area. And the university closest to me, which is called University of Hertfordshire, probably the most famous shout out that university has ever had, is because no one talks about it. Someone is like, finally, we've made it. Yeah, global.
Shout out to University of Hertfordshire, leave us 5-star review.
Yeah, hey, we're always looking for sponsors too. We're happy to be the official podcast of University
all my lecturers. Please, smash that 5-star review. So I went there with my family, and I listened to the talk about marketing, and then on the way out, we just happened to see a sign that had a big Mickey Mouse, and it was like the Fab Five and Mickey, Minnie, and whatnot, just said Disney International Programs. And it just happened to walk past it. And I was like, my favorite place in the world, like, what do I need to do? So I went in the careers office and I was like, pointed at the sign, I was like, what do I do? Like, I'll do anything, like anything. And they said, well, you got to do a qualifying degree. So I said, well, I'm interested in marketing. Yep, that's fine. So basically, their programs run during either the summer, or you can take a year out of university. We call it a sandwich year. And you could go, do the visa, and there's a company that, would have interviews on site. A Disney representative would actually come to the university and would talk to you and see if it would be a good fit. So I was like, perfect. So managed to, get the marketing degree, and I was like, well, it's marketing, but really, the Disney part is what brought me in here. And yeah, like first day, I'm like in that office, pointing at that sign again, like, here, made it, what's the next step? Like, how do I get there? And they told me about the application process, and I had a big group interview, and there was someone from the company's actually called Yummy Jobs, that, if anyone listening from the UK wants to work for Disney, then Yummy Jobs is, who you need to go through.
Shout out to Yummy Job.
Yeah, Yummy Jobs. Yeah, it's quite a unique name. But they basically interview the people to get to the final interview for someone from Disney to then talk to you. Unfortunately, I didn't get Disney the first time, and I was so upset. But then they said, well, we also have Universal. So I was like, well, that's near Disney, so let's go for that. And I ended up getting Universal. So I worked there in the first summer, and I was in a team called Consumer Insights. So if you go to Universal and you see the people with a clipboard or an iPad, yeah, that was me. Yeah, I'm standing there in the heat.
Best job.
And they're like, I'm like, how was your? Tell us how your day was. They're like, it was great. I was like, well, I need you to record that, put that on, right there. And then they would always say, what's in it for me? I was like, you get to talk to me. And they usually go, well, we definitely have better things to do. Yeah, get us out of here now. But the overall experience of working at Universal, I think that's such a cool company. I just love it so much. So I did the summer there, and then I came home and was like, still itching, to go to Disney. Is there anything we can do there? And they, during the sandwich year that I just mentioned, they had a program then. Normally, you would go to Epcot, whereas my university had another program, and it was partnered with University of California in Riverside. So interviewed with Disney, got the 6-month placement there, and I went to California for a couple of weeks, and then all of us from Canada, Spain, Japan, France, Ireland. I mean, we all went to the University of California, and then we all went to work at Disney for 6 months. And the guy that was my roommate, I already knew him because they just randomize you. I actually knew him from already living with him in California, which was pretty awesome. And so for Disney, the first time I worked in Magic Kingdom, I worked in Adventureland merchandise. So I worked at the Agrabah, Zanzibar stores, which have changed a little bit now, and the Pirates of the Caribbean store. And I also worked on the Glow, they called it Glow. When you go to see the parade in the evening and the fireworks, the Happily Ever After, the people with the carts selling the light up wands and whatnot. Yeah. And that was pretty cool because they just randomize where you go. They're like, oh, you'll be in front of Cinderella's castle tonight. I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah. And then the next night you'll be in Frontierland. You're like, wow, like even as cool as the last night. Yeah, obviously I'll do that. Yeah. So I did that for 3 months. And the next 3 months, they moved me because that was part of my internship or my college program. And I worked on Under the Sea. So I was on the Little Mermaid attraction. And that was so much fun. I didn't care where they put me. So any place they would have put me would have just been incredible. But yeah, it was so much fun. And after that, I then moved around. I worked at a few other theme parks. I worked up at like Cedar Point in Ohio, and I was just like, yeah, I was just like adding theme parks to my resume. I was like, like eventually Disney may see me again. And someone told me about Disney internships because I'd already done the college program. I was out of university by this point. And I was like, well, they're not just going to randomly employ someone from England just because he did the college program, because a lot of people do that. Sure. And I applied and they liked me, and they ended up putting their name on a visa sponsorship, which they'd never done before. Wow. So I'm not trying to say I'm amazing or anything, but the manager I had was amazing, and he signed off, and Disney Legal had a lot of meetings to get me over there. Wow. And yeah, I worked in a team called Guest Experience Services, which is where I met my wife. I met her on the first day when I was training. She kept like walking past the room I was training. I'm like, who's that? Like, ended up going to Epcot with her a few days later. I was yeah, that worked out.
Man. That sealed the deal right there.
Yeah. So if you go to Disney Springs and you see like a kind of a funky looking building opposite, it's called Team Disney. Mm-hmm. Looks like a massive watch dial, which was what the design of the building was. It's like kind of reddish, bluish, yellowish, like a big circle in the middle. That's the building we worked in. So I was there for a year as an intern, had to leave because I was just an international intern on a visa, right. And then came back as a married man and worked there again. Then COVID hit. So that's my Disney story. Very condensed version, about the 30-minute long read, I think. Yeah. Sorry about that.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
I mean, especially that first job, like that college program job, to be in Magic Kingdom for those 6 months, because you could have been making pizza at All-Star Movies, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you could be placed anywhere. Is that right?
You could be placed anywhere, but your job description, so you're either kind of a few different categories that you could be. So I knew I was in merchandise moving to operations. So I knew that I wasn't going to turn up and they suddenly like, oh, you're working in quick service, which was another category. You could be merchandise. I think there may be one I'm about to miss, but merchandise, operations, quick service, table service, costuming, entertainment, which, I mean, we don't need to go into too much because we want to preserve the magic, but yes, sure. Entertainment, or custodial. So in the roommates that I had, or the housemates, I think roommates just sounds like they're all in one big room with you. I only had one roommate. He was costuming, so he worked on Phantasmic. Another guy in my apartment, he was custodial. Another guy was entertainment, if you know what I mean, right?
Close your eyes.
Had some famous friends, and yeah, gosh, I wish I could remember what the other two did. If they listen to this, they'll just never talk to me again. But basically, you get paired with people that could do different functions, so like, and different times of the day as well. Operations, especially in Magic Kingdom, I would be working till sometimes 2-3 a.m. And I'd get off the bus back to our housing, and someone doing, a morning shift could be getting on the bus, and you just kind of wave at each other, and you're like, "Good morning," like, and they're like, "Good evening." So yeah, that's another quick point, is that Disney do provide housing for international programs. Not for my internship, because that was funky. You're going to think this is really bizarre, but I promise you this happened. I had to find a Facebook group of people looking for Disney roommates. And I was like, "Hey, I'm from England. Anyone want to live with me?" And yeah, found a place. And then I had to rent a car for 5 days because I didn't have a vehicle. I had to drive to Team Disney somehow. So I took my rental car to just a random car dealership and bought a car.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like inspecting it, thinking, like, I actually really, I don't want to tell you this, but I really need this car today. So like, I need to be driving this today. But yeah, and then like I said, yeah, it was just so much fun. I absolutely loved it. Loved it. It's hard because you work the shifts that the people that have been there a long time are not picking. But I did get a bit fortunate working in the merchandise side, because if you know, it's different now, but the Agrabah, Zanzibar, and it was called Island Supply, now it's Sunglass Hut. Do you guys know that area that's like by the magic carpets?
Exactly where that is.
Yeah. Now it's just a bunch of tables, and it's. I'm like, okay, but that area, those stores closed like 5 or 6. Like, we were just like pulling the shutters down. Like, the park could be open to 11, and our shutters were down. It was very bizarre. Yeah, I never quite worked out why that was. I mean, if you worked in a pirate store, then yeah, you could be scheduled till, well, not till park close. Like, if the park closes at 11, which it often did, or extra magic hours till 12, that doesn't mean you're going home at 12. That means that's cleanup time. Like, that is tidy up. I mean, and then you've got to walk. Yeah, I'm not spoiling the magic. Then you got to walk to wherever the bus is, and wherever you were living at that time. Park closes at, let's say, 12. I mean, you're not in bed till like 1:30 or 2. Yeah. Wow. But then so many other people that you're friends with that are doing these other functions, or these other jobs, sorry, are there on the same schedule as you. So you could be in the parks and it'll be like 3 o'clock. You're like, "Hey, my shift starts at 5. Let's probably head back and get ready."
Oh, that's awesome. So, I mean, I've spent a lot of time in that pirate store, sword fighting with various family members and, my daughter. So that place is very sort of fond, memories for me. But I wonder, like, what a typical day or what a typical shift, if there was one, like what kinds of things, I assume, things that anyone who works in a store does, right? But what would be some of the things that are maybe unique to working there that, or at the other place, what would be a Sunglass Hut someday,
Yeah. We could just talk about the merchandise, functions that I had. It's interesting you mentioned about sword fighting. So I will kind of piece that into what I'm about to say. So let's say that you work at, have a shift in the pirate store. So this whole podcast is just me towing the line between magic and like
I love it.
what I did. So yeah, I'll be very, very careful to choose my words here. But let's just say your journey to the pirate store has to happen before you clock into the pirate store. And you may just appear at the pirate store, should we just say that? Like, you're not walking down Main Street,
So we have something in common, Adam, because I have been where you're talking about, because I did the Keys to the Kingdom tour 20 years ago.
Yeah, yes, I have also done that tour, and I'm like, yeah, okay. See a little section. So yeah, I guess we can. Are we allowed to say that this area exists?
Oh yeah, I think we've said this word.
Yeah,
Mike. What word are you talking about?
You're talking about the utilidor. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Phew. Like, a whole weight's just been lifted. I'm like, how do I like word this? Okay.
Kids, earmuffs, everybody.
Right. Yeah. If anyone under the age of 18 is listening, please pause the podcast. So, getting from Disney housing is on. The bus company was called Transtar. So if you ever see a Transtar bus, If it's moving, you're like, congratulations. You are like, your tires are rolling along. Like, you're doing really well, because those buses break down all the time. I had a bus break down on me on the way to work. And this, I promise you this is true. I had a bus break down to me on the way to work on World Drive. Okay. Another bus picked us up and got us there. On the way home, another bus broke down on me. The bus picked me up. That bus broke down. So yeah, I counted like 4 or 5 buses that day just to get me to and from work.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So special shout out to Transtar. Anyone who's done the college program is just shivering. Oh God, Transtar.
Shout out to Transtar.
Yeah, thank you, Transtar. So that gets you to behind Magic Kingdom, right? So then you have to get a bus to the utilidors, and then, yeah, again, towing the line of keeping the magic preserved. But yeah, you get to the pirate store, clock in, and it will tell you a function that you have. So it would say you're on register, blah, blah, blah. So the pirate store at the time, I think it's still the same. There's kind of like 2 separate register areas. So you're kind of assigned to a spot. And the way that working at Disney on stage is, when someone else clocks in, it's called a bump. So they'll then walk over to the other person and be like, oh, you're now moving to so-and-so. Mm-hmm. And I'll bring it back to when you were saying about sword fighting, because one of the tasks that you had was merchantain. So like going out into the store and having fun and just literally like picking up a sword and just like fighting this unsuspecting child that is just standing like, whoa. Okay, the 6'4" British man is trying to fight me. Like, oh, I'm a pirate. What are you talking about? So yeah, I mean, and as you say, I mean, working there, I mean, there's obviously a load of stuff that has to be done behind the scenes, like stocking and making sure everything is looking in perfect shape. And they always say that everyone is custodial as well. So there's no, if you see something that is out of place, or if you see like something on the ground, it's everyone's responsibility to keep it looking pristine for the guests. And I'm just talking about working in that specific store, but yeah, that was so much fun. And then the other ones that I worked at, like Agrabah, I mean, there was a limited rotation. There's actually a cart by the Adventureland Bridge called Bwana Bob's, and it sells like Mickey. I mean, they change it all the time, but yeah, working out there, you're like, that's going to be a hot one. But they do a really amazing job at rotating you, so you're not just stranded out in the heat. And kind of jumping ahead to when I worked at Under the Sea, I was fortunate because a lot of those positions are inside. So you're kind of in the air conditioning, right. But then every now and then you'll like rotate out to be a greeter. I mean, and it could be raining, it could be whatever the weather, and you have to stand out there. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't a position I didn't like. The only one that maybe was a bit iffy is called Merge. So where the lightning lane meets the regular line. Mm. And if you go through the Under the Sea line, again, I feel like I was so lucky to work on that ride because the lines can't see each other. There's a wall. So, yeah, I mean, they can kind of see a little bit around the corner, but I've heard some stories about other attractions where like the lines are facing each other and you're like, well, you just let through so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah, I have to. I'm sorry.
I know. I always feel bad for those cast members. Of course, I'm coming through the lightning lane usually, but
yeah. So yeah, Steve's gliding through. I mean, they're just like, yeah, come on in. Like, don't even scan your magic bag. Come on in. Like, what you doing? But yeah, I mean, I've been in line so many times, just staring at the cast member there, and I'm like, if you look at me, you might let me through.
I have like really nerdy, like stalking the store questions. So
Mike's got his arms crossed, just walking around the store.
I have a question about inventory and
yeah.
So I'm always curious. Like, it feels like the shelves are always full, right? Like nothing's ever run out. Is everything just filled like through the utilidor, or is it end of day restocked? Like, how does that work?
So you will see cast members that aren't in the costume of the other cast members that are working at the store. So they do that to kind of blend in the best they can. They're usually in like solid blues. Again, I haven't. When I go now, I'm like full on like magical mode. Like as a guest, I don't like I've done the operation side of things, so I'm not like wasn't the same when I was here. Like
Yeah.
I'm not walking around like Mike, just like questioning people. Like, what's your bump? How long have you been on shift? What's your But yeah, so you have specific customers that have shifts that are literally stock shifts. Like you won't be on the registers, you will literally wear a different costume, and you're tasked throughout the day. Yeah, going back specifically to what you mentioned at the end of your question, like leaving it to the end of the day, you're going to have empty shelves. I mean, stuff flies off shelves, and dependent on different stores. I mean, if you're working at, I always think working at like the All-Star Music store at the resort, like your merchandise is probably going to be moving slightly less fast than in the parks. But yeah, if you're in a shop in the parks, your stuff is flying off the shelves. So they're always restocking, and then obviously at the end of the day, and you have to restock the stock. So,
right.
So like that, I mean, this stuff is within reaching distance, really, behind the scenes for these cast members to like fill it up. But like, who's giving them the stuff?
Yeah.
So that's a whole process as well. I didn't see that because I had very few stock shifts. Maybe it was for my sword fighting abilities, just because they're like, he needs to stay out, you know, get him out there. Like he doesn't need to be stocking shelves. But Disney have it down to a science. And it wasn't like this when I was there, but having reservations, I'm surprised that took so long because, I mean, how do you predict? I mean, you have crowd calendars. I mean, how do you predict how many people are probably going to buy like an ice cream from, you know, the ice cream parlor? I mean, you're just kind of giving it your best guess because you know roughly the numbers that are happening in, you know, mid-May, for example. So yeah, it's a fascinating kind of dive into that, and I won't kind of go too far into it because we've got other stuff to talk about. But yeah, it is. They have it down. Like this is not the fact that there are full shelves is not just by chance.
Right.
I had a question more now about working on a ride on an attraction because I've always wondered about that. So you talked about like the bump where you're bumping along and you're doing all different rides or all different functions within the ride so you don't kind of get sick. Because I always think about the people who work like the Mad Tea Party who hear that song, you know, all day long. And I wonder, there's probably some version of that at every ride and attraction. I wonder, like, were there challenges with that, working day in and day out, you know, hours a day on an attraction, hearing the same, you know, Scuttle's announcement over and over, you know?
Here's the story about Ariel. Yes, I have heard him. I've heard him begin the story many times. I've also heard him end the story many times. Yes.
Whoa, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, I didn't see the other part of the story, but they're married. Okay. Steve, you mentioned about the Tea Party attraction. Do you think that the people who work on that attraction just work on that attraction? Because
interesting.
Gonna say it but not saying it, but yeah, there's another attraction nearby where crazily they wear the same costume. So there may be people walking to and from that attraction because there's not many spots on that ride, and I don't think they've done that just to stop the cast members going insane. But operationally, if you have like three cast members, sorry, I need to get back into the lingo. It's been a while. 3 cast members working on that attraction, shall we say? Like one as greeter, one to load, one to operate, and maybe another one that I'm missing. Maybe I didn't work on that attraction, so I might be wrong on my numbers. Not many people work on that ride when it's working, shall we say. It's very hard to staff that and kind of bump people around all the time.
Right.
So, yeah, you kind of have to have a larger kind of loop of people. Yeah, working on Under the Sea, I will say, we also had Ariel's Grotto, because there's only 2 operations cast members that work on that attraction. So one is greeter, So, make sure that if you, at the time it was fast pass, but now lightning lane, like you've got to make sure the right person's going in the right lane. And you also got to tell them the wait time is roughly, although it says on that sign, they always say, is that a quick 30 minutes or is that a slow 30 minutes? And you're like, well, right. My British clock is telling me, well, we measure time differently, so it's a British 30 minutes, so slightly off.
What's the conversion rate on that?
Right, yeah, exactly. So we're doing imperial, we're doing metric on minutes and hours. But I mean, that will only give you so much. A lot of people go up to the front and they're like, really, how long is this going to take? And all you'd have to do is turn around and be like, well, 15, we'll get you in 15, right. Depending on how many people are in lightning lane. So you just have one there and then one to actually let people see aerial. So obviously just having two people means that loop that we just mentioned has got to be a bit larger. So you've got to have someone coming from, load 2 on under the sea, like coming there, and then they'll bump them, and then they'll bump back to under the sea to like greeter, for example.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you ever see a castle with like a little piece of paper, then that's what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen them hand off, like it's almost like a little receipt. They hand it off to the next person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a compliment, really. It's like, you look really nice today. Yeah. I hope you're having a great day. I'm like, oh, cool.
So did you only work at Magic Kingdom outside of when you were at the parks? And then you said you worked at
Team Disney.
So maybe talk about that, because that's like behind the scenes, right? That's not on set.
Yeah. So I think talking about my time in Team Disney is a little bit easier than talking about towing the line of like preserving the magic. So yeah, I mean, there are obviously people that work behind the scenes that work at Disney. And that job the team was called Guest Experience Services. So what that means is that when you email into Disney or you call into Disney, depending on what your phone call is about, and it has, again, after COVID, so many things change. So it's slightly different now. But when I worked there, we'll just kind of keep it in that timeline. If you were to call into Disney or email to Disney, likelihood is one of my team would have responded to you. And actually responded to you, like typed up an email and responded to you, depending on the topic. If it's a topic that is sensitive, like if there was a hot topic that's happening, that we couldn't talk about, you'd have to give like a standard response. But yeah, for the most part, we'll give you a proper email back or phone call back, depending on the situation. Yeah, people are always surprised. Like, I can't believe like you're actually calling me. Like, well, you did right into us telling us about what happened. So it's all post-visit, some pre-visit, but not too much. But mainly, if you catch my drift about why you would write in post-visit, is it going to be positive or negative on the most part? Like,
so let's cut to the chase. How do you get free stuff?
Yeah, I think people are listening to me now like, cut him off. Stop this podcast going out. No, I mean, what we would do would be sufficient to what happened, and we would verify what happened. So a lot of it was research. So you wouldn't just have one email in at a time and respond to that email. You do a lot of digging along the way. So you would pull up their reservation, you would pull up the ticket they had, the resort they stayed at, like just to basically get a full-on picture of what happened. And sometimes we would reach out to management in the parks to like verify something bad happened if they say it did. Like, oh, these people are saying they were stuck on Kali River Rapids for like an hour. And then you'd reach out to or check the logs and be like, it was 2 minutes. So British time, 2 minutes. I'm not sure how that relates, how that converts. Maybe an hour.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, basically get a full understanding of what happened and then kind of go from there. So if they had an absolute terrible day, then we would give them a day back, like for like. If they came home and their Mickey plush was, had a problem with it that they didn't notice or something happened, like for like, basically. And then a little bit of pixie dust on top. I can't tell you too much because you know what to say. But yeah, we'll go the extra little Disney magical pixie dust on top of whatever they say.
So you can't just use your imagination like Figment when you email. You got to actually something actually had to happen because you guys.
Yeah, we might be able to see through it basically.
Yeah.
And it was always so. Now I don't work there. I can say it was always so funny when you like call people out for doing that because you're like, tell me more, give me more detail. I can't find your reservation. Do you have that? And I'm like, oh, I paid. It's always paid cash. Always cash. Straight cash. Okay. And did you also like ghost through the turnstiles? Because like I have a camera on there too. So I don't see you. Like, like, oh yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was me. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So just to give you kind of a quick kind of overall about what else I did in that department. So there's different functions within the team itself. So my wife worked through social media. So she had a lot of, responses on obviously social media because people message through Facebook and Twitter. And I think I want to say Yelp, but when she listens to this, she may be telling me that I got that completely wrong. But there's different avenues. I mean, it's not only through email and phone call that you reach Disney. A lot of people send letters as well, so we'd have to like respond. Sometimes we'd respond through letter because like we couldn't, find an email address or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting how people do that. But yeah, so elsewhere, what I did was billing. So if you had a problem with your guest folio, we would call it, you get home, you look at what you were charged, either usually at a resort. So you would say, oh yeah, I didn't get my blah, 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 like, or there was a problem in the room, and you'd be like, okay, well, let me look at what you paid and let me see what we can do for you. Or my card was charged, I was supposed to be refunded, didn't get it. So you kind of make sure that it was everything on the financial side was, initiated correctly. And that, long story short, brought me to where I work now at a bank because I had a bit of like the other side of stuff. So I always thought that was interesting. And then another part of what I did was run Disney. So we would go to the ESPN Wide World of Sports and make sure everything was running correctly. A lot of what we did was really post-race though. So we would go just to take a look at it. And then a lot of it was, because I don't know how much either of you know about Run Disney, but you get like a welcome pack and you get a shirt. So many times it was, oh, I shouldn't have got a medium, and you're like, okay, well, we have the large, so we have a small, so we can, send one out to you. Again, making sure they ran, not just some random person being like, got the wrong shirt. Okay. Well. And then the medals. I always thought the medals were, I'm not a runner, but if I was a runner, then Run Disney, I'd absolutely do it. And you have characters along the way. I mean, do you have anyone book kind of packages around Run Disney, Steve?
I haven't, but I do know, Mike, I don't know if you know this. Also, Steve has, I don't know if he did the marathon, but he did it might have been a half marathon. He did a big race at
There's a few throughout, yeah.
And I know Dia, who's on one episode, has done a 5 or 6 or maybe even more Run Disney races. But so I've learned through them, and we'll have an episode about it at some point, I'm sure. But it is quite an experience, and it's intense to get into it. I mean, it's so competitive, and it's hard to sign up. But yeah.
It's one of those things where if you don't do it, it's kind of like another bubble of Disney that you just are not aware of. And then once you start to learn about it, you're like, wow, that is actually huge. Because when we went recently, we saw they were putting away, I believe, rather than setting up, a whole part of the Epcot parking lot for Run Disney. And they run through the park in the mornings and make sure that, the runners are cleared for the park to open normally. And when they do the marathon, they run between the parks. I thought, I drive it. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I can't do that. How would you do this on 2 legs? This place is massive.
Yeah. Marathon's no joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Maybe that's why I don't do it. But yeah, it is a cool thing to do. I would recommend anyone to look at like the photos that Disney post, because it's always the people with the most amazing costumes. There's people running through Epcot dressed as with like candlesticks, like just running through like they're in Beauty and the Beast. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. Like, I couldn't do the run, let alone dress up. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. I recently started following the Run Disney Instagram, and for that reason, I'm like, these are great photos.
They're always so imaginative as well. Like someone would like run through like the monorail. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. That would be so cool. Like two people tied to each other, like the skyline. I'm like, wow, amazing.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, I know your Skyliner squad. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. You might be more.
I'm ready. Let's talk about Skyliner.
Great segue into Skyliner.
Yes.
I have one more question about working on rides, not to take away from our Skyliner momentum here.
Yeah.
But
I've taken my time.
I've always wondered this and wanted to ask a cast member. I don't know how much you can get into it, but rides go down at Disney all the time.
Yes.
Okay. Why? What are the reasons that they're down for the most part in your experience? And how much can you say? Is it people dropping their sunglasses and stuff, like, or is it? I'm
thinking of people listening to this thinking, finally, Steve's asking the questions that I want to know the answer to. Adam, I need you to explain everything that is annoying me when I go. Well, I can't answer for every single. Well, I can give you a broad answer. Is that attractions are extremely complex.
Sure.
So, on every attraction that I can think of, there are sensors, and those sensors could be tripped by many things. They could be tripped by sunglasses, like you mentioned. They could be tripped by someone stepping out, which, happens. Could be a malfunction. Could be, there's so many things that go into having a ride operate all the time. And think about it as well. Disney doesn't close. Apart from when they put attractions down for refurbishment, that's really the only time they have to like properly like look under the hood for for want of a better expression, and be like, okay, what's caused a few downtimes recently? Like, what is going on? Every time there's a downtime, it is logged in the report, and management will take a look at that, and they may send some extra ride engineers to take a look at that. Every ride that is operating is because it is 100% safe. So if there's ever a slight doubt about that, that is the number one. They would rather have people frustrated at a ride going down than there to be like assuming that, say, a sensor is being faulty or there's a problem.
Right.
But I can actually give you a very specific answer on Under the Sea that I worked on. When you go around the ride, if you look down, you will see like mats or pads. Every single one of those is a sensor. So if something lands on that, it will stop the ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and I know the spiel. Oh, what's this? Sebastian will come over there. Yeah. So yeah, it will stop. And if we can figure it out, there's like a map and it'll tell us which sensor can figure it out quickly, or if it's just a rogue sensor, or if we can get it back running, we will as soon as possible. But only if it's safe. And then if something would happen inside the attraction, which means cast members have to like walk the ride, they'll have to like walk, and I know this is a podcast, I'm kind of using my hands here, but they'll walk like a circle, and they'll meet in the middle and then walk back out to the front to make sure every single thing on the ride is clear.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, yeah, I like to know all that because I obviously like to feel safe when I go on a ride, but when people ask me, what, specifics of, attractions and, do you think they're safe? I'm like, the more I know about them, the more I know they're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've worked on, we won't get into this, but I worked in England. I worked on a roller coaster and 2 roller coasters and some other rides. And yeah, to sign off on any attraction by any manufacturer to like get it working, yeah, it is a massive deal to know that it's going to work properly and safely.
Right. Yeah. So it is a lot of people dropping stuff, is what I'm.
a lot of lost sunglasses. Yes. Well, different rides are more complex than others. Like if you're talking about like Expedition Everest, there's a lot more kind of cogs to that wheel, that operation to get that properly working, right? Like a wheel of a train may slightly be may not be rolling as properly as it should be. I mean, I don't know the exact specifics of that attraction, but more simple rides may be more easy to kind of fix. And it's not just the actual ride itself. I mean, you've got, things that go on in the ride that you're looking at that they have to make sure are working.
Right.
I hope I gave you a good enough answer to that.
No, that was fantastic. Because as a guest,
if you don't know,
I make assumptions, and I always thought, maybe it's something mechanical, right? These things are so complex, and on some rides, I'm sure that is what it mostly is, or often is. But, or is it like this animatronic? Something like Rise of the Resistance, this animatronic's not working properly, and so is that why? Because it kind of takes away from the show, or is it a sensor got tripped with someone, and there's just so many more sensors. So I'm sure, as you said, it depends on the ride, but I just kind of made assumptions, but I never really had any clue if I was, what it actually was. So interesting.
Well, I'll give you a little something that may be good insight, but anytime that a ride is working that day, like once you go in, if the ride is up, engineering have been on that ride, over the night, and they have to make sure it's clear and pass off with like lock and key, to operations. Because operations, I mean, we're, safety focused, but we're obviously not mechanics, and we can't, go ahead and fix something. But if the ride does go down, then you have to literally like lock out the ride and hand it to engineering that know their stuff deep, like a deep dive of what the issue is.
And so that's why a ride like, Mike, what happened to you with Rise of the Resistance? First thing in the morning, it's down, right? And you see that often. I see it with like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It happens all the time as well. And it's probably because, there's some issue that I never realized that
exactly that
every single night that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not that they're just trying to frustrate someone, or, someone's had their, fish and chips a bit late that morning and they're just rocking up to work. Like they are, waiting, like cast members are waiting there in their positions, waiting for the all clear, and they can't do anything until, engineering have been like, well, this, especially for Rise of the Resistance, what a complex ride that is. I mean, there's so many different zones, so many different paths, and, got to really make sure that everything's working right with that.
I'd say fish and chips sounded good when you said it.
Yeah. In case Mike was thinking, where's this story going? Threw him a little fish and chips to be like, he's back.
It was good. Yeah.
I lost him for a second.
Good hook. It was a good hook for the story. I'm interested.
It's like, I'm back.
Yeah.
Everything can relate to fish and chips, let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you listen to this podcast,
Yeah. Everything circles back.
Yeah, this has been really like, it's cool to like you speculate, right? As a guest, you're like, oh, maybe it's this, or what, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on. It's really great to hear it from somebody that's been behind the scenes and knows a little bit more insight than us guys who are just Disney dads that like talking about it and going
right.
from a guest perspective. But it's really cool to hear it from a cast member's perspective.
Yeah, and it hasn't. If anything, it's increased my enjoyment, to be honest, because I just love my time there so much. Not saying every single cast member is having the best time 100% of the time, but it is so cool to work there. Like, it is, can't even put it into words. And it really changes you as a person, like for the better, because I feel myself kind of like trying to give off a bit of a Disney vibe quite often, like even in my like day-to-day life. I'm like, I don't work for Disney, like, yeah. Can't you tell? Like,
when you were talking in the beginning about how like working in the store, like everyone is custodial. Everyone's got to like be, looking after that, the cleanliness and everything. And it got me thinking, like, what's the buy-in level of cast members at Disney World on things like that, on being like because it seems very high to me. It seems like
right.
almost every cast member. But I mean, was that your experience working with people? Is that people are pretty, generally speaking, fairly happy to be working there, and kind of buying into that Disney service, culture?
I feel like Disney does such a great job at bringing people in who really buy into that. So not only, you're not just turning up on day one and being told what to do, like you have gone through obviously a lot of interviews, but also you go through what's called traditions, where you learn all about Disney and you learn about, you're standing on the shoulders of giants, really. So you really are adding to what has gone before you, and you're really adding to that. And those traditions classes, I mean, so much excitement in the room. I mean, and then they'll just ask for such a Disney nerd like myself, like I won't like raise my hand for every question, but they're like, how many theme parks are at Walt Disney World Resort? And then someone will like raise their hand, they're like, there's 4, and they're like, yeah, like and the whole room's going, they got it right, there's 4 theme parks, yes, how do they know that? Yes, love it, like everyone's on the same page. And then you do that, and then you do your job specific training, and they really make sure that you are buying into what you're doing. And also, I'm not saying it's someone's walking around like an eagle, like staring, or like a hawk, sorry, kind of staring at you, making sure you're doing your job. But I mean, you kind of self-police, if that makes sense, quite a lot of the time. Like if someone next to you on a register is like not, just being like, that'll be $20, insert card or tap now. You'll be like, what? Like Jim? What's going on, buddy? So yeah, I mean, everyone is kind of on the same page about, it's so hard to quantify that, because how do you get everyone working there? I can't tell you every single person, all the time, but for the most part, everyone buying into the same common goal is to like make it magical. It is, the whole operation of it really is astounding.
It is. And just to know the tens and tens of thousands of people who work at Disney World and make it work, to be able to get 99 or whatever % of people, lockstep in that, especially those that, deal with guests and everything, is kind of amazing. I've always wondered that about, like, you go anywhere, you get some, crabby Cathys and stuff, but Disney is so rare. It's so rare.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one of the other parts to that is, once these cast members go home, they're probably sticking on a Disney movie. They're probably watching something on Disney Plus. They are probably going to the parks on their day off. They love it, for the most part. I can't talk again in general terms, but for the most part, you clock off and you're like, I'm going to go meet my friend at Animal Kingdom tonight. Let's go ride Everest. Yeah.
I have one last question related to that. It's kind of a segue to what I was thinking, is because I assume if you had a later shift, sometimes you would be in the park early, and maybe hit a ride or two. And sometimes you had an earlier shift, maybe the opposite. You'd stick around and do something else. What was your go-to pre-shift ride and your go-to post-shift ride?
Oh, fantastic question. Well, I would have to stick to Magic, because that's the actual park I worked in.
True.
So, let me see. I did love riding this is going to sound so odd to some people, but I did like riding under the sea before I had a shift, and to see my friends. So yeah, that was fun. That was fun to go on. Yeah, it has to be a ride without too long a wait. So, although I was over in Fantasyland, it'd be tricky to be like, oh yeah, I'd love to just hop on Peter Pan, Right. It's not exactly a quick process to do that. Probably something like PhilharMagic, because it kind of like adding the Disney, the music and kind of getting you hyped up a little bit. Maybe post shift, sorry. Let me see. I do love Jungle Cruise at night, being over in Adventureland, so I'm going to kind of stick to that area. So, yeah, I'll probably say that.
Great pick. I love it. Well, we only scratched the surface here, Adam, I think. But we've taken too much of your time today. But Mike, are you
enjoyed it?
We're going to have him back.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back. We could talk this stuff all day. There's so many cool things to learn about. So
yeah, no, it was so much fun hearing about this. I feel like I learned so much from hearing you talk a little bit about this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next time. But But yeah, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, Steve at just@magictravel.com. Book your next Disney, Universal trip, whatever. You know, now that I'm an expert, thanks to Adam for...
Steve is awesome. Can definitely vouch for Steve. Yes.
Appreciate that very much. So yeah, until next time, Adam. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.